Hello everyone, welcome to part 3 of the Nascar 99 playthrough. It is time for Texas Motor Speedway. Get one lap of qualifying here, see what I can do. And after that qualifying attempt at Bristol, where the game would kind of speed up a little bit there in the corners, I don't think that'll be as much of an issue here at Texas. It just seems like, from what I've noticed, maybe it will be an issue. Yeah, let's see what I can do, though, with this qualifying lap. It's not over yet. I like Texas Motor Speedway. It's similar to Atlanta. It's another one of those big old mile-and-a-halfs, and I believe the first race there was 97, because there was that... Yeah, that's right. Because it's in NASCAR 98. Oh, there I am. 14th. So it's not one of my better qualifying efforts this season. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'll have a bad race. Let's see what I can do here. And yeah, I advanced my position before the race even started. Now in real NASCAR, that would be quite a penalty. Now, the thing I do notice, though, about a lot of the newer NASCAR games is they do kind of include penalties, like the pit road speeding violations and the don't leave the course on the road courses. That's a common one. They do a lot of course penalties now. This race seems to be off to a solid start. I mean, I'm in the top 10. It's going good. But I haven't pitted yet, and I do have a little bit of damage on the car already. Also, there's this weird glitch in the game where if you pause it, you get a small smidge of damage on the rear of the car. So now you see how my square rear end there is kind of got a weird bump on the side now. But yeah, I always found that kind of interesting. Now, this game also does instant replays, where if you pause the game, you can go back and rewind at least 10 seconds, I think. Maybe 5, I don't know. Ooh, look at that draw distance up ahead, though, with the grandstands. That's something I like about these early PS1 games, is that draw distance. But I don't know, I mean, games still have it. I mean, you would think that modern hardware would have been able to solve issues like this, or maybe people just don't know how to develop games to look as realistic or as, I don't know, as possible. Something. I have had a couple of beers, so I'm just kind of trying to, form words here and keep this playthrough rolling. It's, yeah. So far, so good, though. It's all good. Lap numero 6. Which, 6 in Spanish is seis, I think, or something like that. I only know that because it's pretty fly for a white guy with the uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis. I sure do like The Offspring, though. They have a lot of really good songs. They're one of my more favorite bands. Which, they have a new album coming out this month, at least at the time of recording this, and I'm a little bit surprised by that because it took them 12 years to make their previous album, and they fired 2 of their band members since then, and it just seems like it's been kind of a mess behind the scenes if it took them that long to deal with all that and put out an album. Which, there's some bands that haven't made music in quite a long time, at least not full albums, and I can see why some don't, just because it's an expensive endeavor if there's not enough return on it, but you still got fans. I mean, you still got people who got you there in the first place with your music, and I mean, sure, you can be a legacy act and not do anything else, but there's some bands that I'm just like, man, it's been so long. Why don't you guys do something? Why don't you put out an album? Mostly looking at you, All American Rejects. It's been since 2012 at this point. Now, it looks like I've pretty much pitted when I needed to this time around, so this is good. This is good stuff. I feel like this is quite promising. I might actually be able to cycle out somewhat alright. I mean, I'm going to stay on the lead lap at least, and I'm not in last. I got to see what I can do now. So it looks like there's still a pretty solid chance I could lose the lap. But there are still cars on pit road, and that's got to be one of the first times that I've pitted when I needed to. It doesn't look like it really did anything for my track position, but it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Still got 7 laps here to decide the situation here at the Motor Speedway. And yeah, let's see what I can do. Oh yeah, I did lose the front of my car this time. Oh well. Looks like I've caught... No. Yeah? Okay, yeah, that was for position. Cool. I would think I'll still be able to get a few of my positions back. And now that I'm utilizing a little bit of draft here and making some notable ground. Yeah, there we go, past the 7 car there. At the time, that was Jeff Bodine. See that sign up there, the Stormfront Studios? That's the development company of this game, which I think they have a fantasy course in one of these games. Yeah, that was the NASCAR 98. It was like the Stormfront 300 or something, one of them road courses. But yeah, moving through this corner. Still a fair enough amount of time, and I'm making good ground. Car's clean now. It's not going to be the result I was hoping it would be. I wonder if this is going to end up like NASCAR 98, where I did the season and I only finished 7th in the points. I mean, if I don't come out of this as the champion, the grand champion, that's okay. I'm just doing this for fun. I wanted to do a season in 99, and it's a fun game. Now, I feel like the 64 version of this game is quite different, to be honest. I mean, it's all the same cars and tracks, but it's quite different. It just plays a lot different, and one thing I don't like about that game is how it's a little bit more difficult to control the cars. I've never felt comfortable with the Nintendo 64 control stick. And because of that, I feel like that adds to the problems I have with that version of the game. I've never been good with the 64 99. I've played it a few times, though. I mean, it's fine enough, I guess. It's just out of my realm. It's out of my wavre, really. And it looks like I'm going to end up with a 15th place finish out of this. So yeah, Texas, not one of my better showings. Not quite how I thought that was going to go, but that's alright, that's alright. Gonna just move on. I fell back to 11th in the points. Ooh, Talladega. Don't mind if I do. I like old Talladega. Old Segadega. Which, it's too bad that the Sega Saturn didn't last long enough in the States for them to do a NASCAR 99. There's really no point in qualifying. Usually when I qualify on these big tracks, it just ends up being kind of a bit of a lame, like, why did I even bother? Because the draft is the great equalizer and the great speed boost. And plus, there's 9 laps. See, I'm already making up some spots. The race hasn't even technically started. Yeah, I gained like 3 spots before the race even began. Dirty driving. Or maybe not. I mean, there's no penalty for it in this game. And this is a fun game to drive the wrong way and just wreck cars. Sometimes, I mean, I'm sure we've all done it as kids. And even nowadays, too, I'll still do it sometimes whenever I just get bored. Or if I'm not having the race I want, I'll just start driving the wrong way and see how many cars I can crash. And just create this chaos. But yeah, so far so good. I'm making up spots. I've been to Talladega. That's always nice to remember. Me and my friend Charlie went there, and it was pretty good. We went for the truck race and the cup race last year, and it was an awesome experience. I love that track, and it was a fun time. I'd definitely go to Talladega again. I'd say that was probably the best race I've been to yet. So I'm hoping whichever race I go to next ends up kind of outdoing that experience. And I hope my friend can tag along too. Like I said, there's plans to go to another race. There's plans to do something for 25. There's concepts of a plan. Alright, see what I can do. Looks like a bit of a tandem there. 2-car tango. Alright. Still a handful of laps. I am going to likely pit next time by, since I'm pretty much on that halfway mark. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to make up any more spots at this point. I mean, they're so far back, and I'm just kind of doing my thing, and without a good, solid speed boost. I mean, I could probably get a little bit of zoomies here on the straight stretch, yeah. See if that draft off the 6 car was enough to really do anything. One thing I don't like about Talladega on Nascar 99 is it's a little bit unrealistic, as you cannot keep the car low, and it's really easy to get into the wall just like any other track in this game, which I can understand with any other track in this game, but it's Talladega. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to do that. You should be able to run wide open at Talladega. So I think that's also an issue in NASCAR 98, if I remember right. My memory is just a little bit blurry because, I mean, that playthrough was a little bit a while back. Even though that was also 2024, I mean, I do remember that I finished 7th in points, but I usually don't go back to my old Let's Plays to watch them. I do make them, but I don't always remember everything. But it does give me good references to make, I mean, and I got some catchphrases, like giving credit where credit's due, and the ooh, and the that's the way it goes. Although I got that from one of my old bosses. But anyways, it's pit stop time. See if these guys can get me out of here in a good amount of time, and hopefully I don't lose a ton of spots. But it looks like everybody's going to go by. There's maybe 1 or 2 more cars still pitting. And yeah, that didn't quite turn out as I thought it was going to. The good thing is there are a couple more leaders. Looks like the leaders are going to pit. I don't know how many are going to pit. I do see a significant amount of cars, though, coming down pit road. That's nice. Doesn't look like everybody, and I don't know if I got enough time to get back to them. But I certainly hope that I can at least get a somewhat good result out of this. It looks like I'm going to catch the tail end, maybe. Alright, yeah. Maybe I can draft a little bit. Oh, good lord. Without crashing my car, of course. I mean, I don't want to DNF. Which, cars usually don't crash into each other too often in this game. It's a little bit unrealistic in that sense. But I do feel like everything in this game, they stepped up from 98. There is no paintball mode in NASCAR 99. I will say that. Alright, let's see. It looks like I'm gonna be able to draft my way back to a position that's not at the tail end of the field. I just hope I can get some kind of result out of this that isn't complete dog water. I mean, I haven't had the best season so far. I turned up the difficulty a little bit, and early on I thought it was going to be smooth sailing, and then I was proven wrong because the pit stops shook everything up. Turning those pit stops on pretty much equalized everything and made the competition a little bit more competitive. Plus, I mean, I'm trying to commentate and play, and I've had a couple of beers at this point, so I'm just a little bit woo, but not too woo. I'm still kind of in control of everything here. I'm doing alright. I'm not going to get too carried away. I got to be a little bit professional. I got a commentary to do here. Though maybe one day I will do a completely drunk Let's Play and see how chaotic it gets. I'm sure that my occasional drunkenness could be somebody's entertainment. Speaking of entertainment, one thing that's not quite too entertaining, though, is my 18th place finish here at Talladega. I certainly thought I was going to do a little bit better here. I was really hoping that I would do pretty good in this Die Hard 500. And Die Hard's a good movie. But this is referring to the Die Hard Battery Company at the time. I don't know if they're still around, but there was a commercial that was like a crossover between Die Hard and Die Hard batteries. But anyways, on that note, I will go ahead and end this third part, and I will save the season and see you in part number 4. Stay tuned.